Mark Kruger, Steve Moga back here at West Aurora. We are moments away from the opening kickoff of tonight's DuPage Valley Conference matchup between Naperville Central and West Aurora. It looks like the Red Hawks of Naperville Central will be kicking it away here tonight to open things up, Steve.
Indeed they will, Mark. They'll kick with that slight wind at their back and defend the south goal as we lay out here on the far west side of Aurora. The Blackhawks will go on offense first and see if they can get things going against that defense that held Wheaton Warrenville South in check last week, Mark.
Holding them to only 13 points last week. Getting ready to kick off, Kyle Adams, 6'2", 195-pound junior for Naperville Central. Beautiful night for football, a little cool. Pretty good kick, taken at their own 8-yard line. And wrapped up at the 23-yard line is Kevin Jenkins. Jenkins is the starting wideout for Coach Jefferson's Blackhawks.
Nick Zaranti with the tackle. You see him getting the high fives coming off the field from his Red Hawk teammates and coaches.
Starting quarterback for West Aurora is number 8, Ryan Jackman. He is a 6', 175-pound senior. Your wideouts, I mentioned Kevin Jenkins and also number 2, Nate Banks. As West Aurora starts things off out of the shotgun formation here now. Jackman out in the flat is Foster. Foster will get to about the 25-yard line, maybe a yard on the play. Starting fullback Steve Brian Redling. There you see the Blackhawk offense. Up front, the center, Joe Coronado. The offensive guards, Paul Healy and Todd Sharbert. Your tackles, Steven Diascoto and David Abusera. Starting offense for the Blackhawks.
You can certainly see some of the speed on defense for the Red Hawks in that first play, Marcus. They certainly closed the gap down in a hurry. You got only about a yard out of that play.
Yep. 2nd down and 9 now. Again, out of the shotgun. Jackman across the middle. It may have been partially tipped at the line. It'll be incomplete. And 3rd down now for West Aurora. This Blackhawk defense. The defensive line, Joe Alvarez, he's a junior. Ken Kotke, he is also a junior. Kevin Yazel gets the start for an injured Luke Summers. He's got a hip pointer. He should see some time tonight. Your linebackers, Scott Urban and Pat Spaeth. Inside linebackers, Ryan Amerson, Matt Paremba. Your corners, Joe Havig, Brett Anderson. Safeties, Brian Euler and Gerald Clark. So 3rd down and 9 now for the Blackhawks. Again, out of the shotgun. Jackman pump fakes, lets it go, and it is incomplete, intended for Jenkins. It'll be 3 and out for the Blackhawks.
Boy, he certainly had a lot of time to throw. Unfortunately, Kevin Jenkins covered the entire way, really covered like a blanket by Joe Havig that time for Naperville Central. But that is an encouraging sign, at least, that Ryan Jackman had a lot of time to throw, Mark. That was one of the things that we were worried about here at the outset. Certainly touched on a little bit in our pregame that they were going to have to give him some time and open up some holes for their offense.
Ryan Clifford and Kevin Noel are back deep for Naperville Central. Jackman getting ready to do the punting duties here for West Aurora. Got the wind behind him a little bit. Pretty good kick. Clifford will let it bounce right at about midfield. They'll actually spot it at the 48-yard line of West Aurora, so very good field position for Owen Daniels, the starting quarterback, and this Naperville Central offensive unit. In the backfield, of course, we talked about Ryan Clifford. John Mulholland is the fullback. 2 wideouts, Kevin Knoll and Brad Spencer. The tight end, Pat Hinsberger. And then that very, very talented offensive line. The center is Jeff Pearson. The guards, Dave Hildebrand, Ty Macko. The tackles, Don Baskin and Doug Rehor. So 1st and 10, Naperville Central from the 47-yard line. Actually, they spot it. First play from scrimmage, and we've got a flag. Looked like number 70, the defensive tackle, Philip Ronzone, jumped.
Well, the Blackhawks a little anxious, Mark. They've read the press clippings as well. They know this big, huge offensive line that they're going to go against. They need to make something happen. Got a little over anxious right away, but look for maybe the linebackers to be as important as anyone here. Obviously, up front, the Blackhawks got to hold their own in the trenches, but there's going to be a lot of tackles in the secondary, I have a feeling.
I formation, Naperville Central. Spencer is split out on the far side for Coach Bungie. Daniels will keep it on the option, spin, have some room inside the 25 to the 20, and finally, still going, Steve, all the way to about the 1 yard line. A 41-yard run, the strength of Owen Daniels, the quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you what, Owen Daniels at 6'3", 200 pounds is a little bit too much of a match for a couple of corners, and there are about 3 guys in West Aurora who missed. You'll take another look at it here, and the keeper, he freezes, linebacker to the outside. There's 1 miss, 2 misses, spins away. 3 guys have a shot on there, and I'll tell you what, he's trying to strip the ball right there. It's just not going to happen with a big, strong quarterback.
That was Issa Tittle, the cornerback, trying to strip it away from Daniels. But first and goal, Redhawks. And it's Ryan Clifford, and he is in from 1 yard out. That is touchdown number 18 on the year for Mr. Clifford. First carry, touchdown.
Well, a minute 30 into the ball game, and the Redhawks are on the board. And that's, if you're Ira Jefferson, that is not how you want to start things out. Go 3 and out with your offense and then give them good field position and just miss tackles. It's going to make for a long night if that continues.
So in for the extra point is Kyle Adams. The hold by Gerald Clark. The extra point is good by Kyle Adams, and we will keep it here. 10 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. And it's been Naperville Central, a fine run by their quarterback, Owen Daniels. And Steve, I don't think that Naperville Central is going to have any type of a letdown here tonight.
Well, they certainly came out of the gate, and I'm sure that's one of the things that Joe Bungie talked to him about. Hey, you cannot let another team stay with you. Let's go out early, take care of business. If anything, there might be a letdown in the second half if they jump out to the big lead. But, you know, they're out to prove something. They jumped into those national rankings, as we mentioned in our pregame. The Redhawks, number 11 nationally in the USA Today, the only Illinois school in their top 25 in the nation, the only Illinois school in the Midwest. They're ranked number 1 in the Midwest, and of course they knocked Wheaton-Warrenville South out of there. Wheaton-Warrenville South was 14 heading into last week's showdown with the Redhawks, and now the Redhawks are the ones on the board.
So kicking it away again is Adams from their own 5-yard line. This is Foster. Try to cut around, gets tripped up at the 20-yard line. Tackled by number 49, Nick Zaranti. Get a good look at Nick.
Zaranti again with a special teams tackle. He also made a tackle on our opening kickoff. And the thing here for West Aurora, Mark, they've got to try and spread the ball a little bit more. Jackman last time went only to Kevin Jenkins, essentially. A couple little dump passes to Foster, but they certainly got to spread things out and get everybody involved.
Well, we saw week number 1 on our game of the week between West and East, and Jackman's favorite, well, he'll keep it himself now on the draw. Boy, that hole just collapses very quickly at the 25-yard line. That was Matt Paremba, the inside linebacker, the senior with the tackle.
Well, Matt Paremba, 6'2", 220 right there, Mr. Kruger, and that looked like you just shoving me out of the way. I tell you what, he had a lineman and just shoved him out of the way and made the tackle like nobody's business, and that could have been a bigger gain, but he just fought off the block and made the tackle.
Talking to Coach John Urban, the defensive coordinator for Naperville Central before the ball game. Very, very talented group of linebackers, including his son, Scott Urban. Last week was named the Daily Herald Defensive Player of the Week against the Tigers. Keep it on the ground to about the 27-yard line, maybe a 1-yard gain. Jason Bessert, number 9, the ball carrier.
Well, some other guys, Mitchell Nowicki had an interception in the game last week, a big pick for Naperville Central. Pat Spaeth was all over the field as well. A lot of different guys making a lot of contributions, and that's just going to make for a lot of W's, let's put it that way, in the long run.
3rd down and 4. The pitch is to Foster. They'll have the first down. Foster gets across the 40 and knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line, but hold everything, a flag back at the 32-yard line. Fine run, nevertheless, by Brandon Foster.
Well, there was no pun intended there, Mark, is that hold on, because I'm pretty sure Nate Eimer's going to get called for the holding. Indeed it is. He tried to throw a block to the outside, the tight end did, and the official right on top of it. He'll bring all that back.
The referee for tonight's game, there you see him, Dave McIntyre with the call. The umpire is Carl Seberg. Back judge, Paul Black. head linesman is Ed Paddock, and the line judge is Dennis Roback. The call against the Blackhawks, so that'll push them back 10. And be 3rd and 14 now for West. Actually, 5 yards, Steve, excuse me. 3rd down and 9 for Ryan Jackman and the Blackhawks. Again, with that wind to their backs here, again from the shotgun formation. Jackman looking to his left, under some heavy pressure. Now he'll just get annihilated in the backfield. Who was it? Number 42, Scott Urban. We mentioned him. What a great week he had last week. He was in on that tackle.
Urban eventually finished him off. Jackman did a good job of eluding a couple of would-be tacklers early on, including Urban. But once the corner got cut off, he turned around. You take another look at it here. Cuts to his left, cuts inside, and right there he thinks, oh, I'll come back. But no, Urban never gave up on the play.
So 4th down now. Blackhawks will punt it away. Heavy pressure. It was partially blocked. The ball is going to go out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. Steve, it looked like Mitchell Nowicki was in there among a couple other Red Hawks.
Well, in football's game that's won in the trenches, as you know, Mark, and I tell you what, right now they're starting to beat up the Blackhawks inside. They're physically just a little bit bigger. And so far, the Red Hawks even showed a step quicker to the football. And that time, a lot of surge up the middle to get a hand on that punt.
So Naperville Central looking for more points. 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line of West Aurora. Again, out of the eye, and again, it's Clifford. Break a couple of tackles. Oh, my. All the way inside the 10, and he's in. Ryan Clifford, 26 yards out. Touchdown number 19. 2 carries, 2 touchdowns.
Well, Mark, it's hard to tackle somebody when you're getting shoved out of the way. I tell you what, that offensive line is doing the job up front. Not only is Clifford a good running back, but when he's got that much green in front of him, forget about it. He just picked his way and made it somewhat look easy. He's got some breakaway speed to go along with some size and some good bodies up front, opening big holes for him. I tell you what, that makes it tough for just about anybody.
So in for the extra point will be Kyle Adams again. And it is good. So 8 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in this opening quarter. It's been all number 1 Naperville Central. They lead it over West 14-0. We will keep it here. And Steve, just amazing numbers from Ryan Clifford. Last year, he rushed for 900 yards and 14 touchdowns. That was all of 1998. So far this year, Steve, he's already got 19 touchdowns, and we're only in week number 5.
Well, he is the cornerstone of a high potent attack, and lost in all that last week was that Owen Daniels went to 5 different receivers. They've got a lot of options, and it's just hard to contain them all.
Brandon Foster back deep. Just a reminder that tonight's game between the Blackhawks and the Redhawks brought to you by Giordano's. Give them a call tonight at 717-6446, 717-6446. West Aurora band trying to get the crowd into it here. And this will be Foster.
Oh.
He loses it at about the 5, taken by Jenkins, and he'll get wrapped up at about the 8-yard line. Flags on the play as well.
A late flag right at the end of that, maybe a couple extra bodies piling on to Kevin Jenkins. Well, if you're West Aurora, you cannot afford any mistakes, and right now they are just shooting themselves in the foot instead. That's going to be a clipping at the very end of that thing.
I believe they'll go halfway to the goal line, Steve, so they'll put it probably inside the 5. They haven't moved the football yet. Bringing it out there right now.
We played this entire game so far at the north end of the field, and it doesn't look like we're going to go to the other end anytime soon here, the way things have been going. We're going the wrong direction here.
Spotted at the 9, so it'll be 1st and 10 Blackhawks from their own 9-yard line.
Maybe a little frustration spilling over on that last play for West Aurora here already, Mark.
Foster, the slot to the near side here now. Jackman looking to the air. Pass is complete to Nate Banks. And Banks gets hit hard at the 12-yard line. It'll be a 3-yard pickup. Gerald Clark, the free safety, among others, was there on the hit.
That's going to make it second and about 3, Mark, about a 7-yard pickup. He actually was close to the first down, ran back away from it, trying to elude one tackler. And tell you what, again, you saw the pursuit of that Naperville Central defense. 5 guys closed in on him in a hurry.
So on second down now, Ryan Jackman fakes the pitch. Now he pitches it to Foster. Foster with a nice run across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. First down for West.
Well, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. West Aurora spreading the field out a little bit. Again, though, it looked like Foster was going to break that for even more yardage, Mark, but the Red Hawk defender is able to just slide right off of the blocks and cut things down. I thought he was going to be able to cut to the outside, but the defender just working his way off of West Aurora tight end and making the tackle.
We didn't see Foster in week 1. It was Mark Watson. But Foster has come here in week number 5 and carried the ball nicely for West Aurora. Under some heavy pressure, down goes Jackman. Looked like number 47, Luke Summers, with the sack. Take another look at it here, Steve. Back
he just didn't have time, Mark, and that's what we talked about before. They've got to give him time like he's had earlier in this game. That one time he doesn't have it on a pass pattern where he's looking to one receiver and one receiver only and trying to stop and throw across his body. They shut it down in a hurry.
So second down and 16. We're about halfway through this opening quarter. 14-0 in favor of Naperville Central. Again from the shotgun now. Jackman loses it, now picks it up, rolls to his right and gets tripped up. And again, it's Scott Urban bringing him down at about the 5-yard line.
Boy, Scott Urban has got some foot speed, Mark. Tell you what, he did not have the angle, it did not look like, but he just shot through there and kept after him and caught up to Jackman. This defense, he'll take another look at it. Right there, I thought he was going to get away, and here comes 42 shooting through to trip him up.
So it'll be third down and a whole bunch, about 27 from their own 5. Careful not to make any mistakes down here, and they'll keep it on the ground for about a yard on the play. That was the fullback, Ryan Redling, 70-pound junior. Bring up fourth down, and Blackhawks will punt once again.
Well, they let Red do the dirty work, Mark, which is pretty appropriate for Brian Redling. I have the good fortune to coach him in baseball in the summertime, and he's one of those kids who likes to get dirty. Plays a little baseball, plays a little basketball, plays some football here too. And he's one of those guys who isn't happy unless his uniform is dirty at the end of a baseball game.
Clifford and Noel are at the 35. This is Ryan Clifford at the 40. Move to his right, now cut back to the left. Break a couple of tackles inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. A 13-yard return for Clifford. And again, Central in very good field position.
13-yard return when he should have had 0. Tell you what, again, he makes people miss. Your great running backs, Mark, whether it be high school, college, pros, whatever it is, not only can they run over people, they can run away from people, and they can make people miss. And he certainly is doing that here through our first quarter of play.
4 minutes, 35 seconds left here in this opening quarter. Mark Kruger, Steve Moga, along with Lisa Prati. Glad to have you with us on our game of the week. Daniels to the air to the far side. And is it caught? 32, that's Knoll.
Indeed, he has it.
He came down with it. Kevin Knoll, the junior, as we mentioned, started every game last year as a sophomore, catching 22 passes for 471 yards and 4 touchdowns. Take another look at it, Steve.
Indeed, it's a little mismatch. They just throw it out there, let him jump up and run under that 6'3", going against the 5'6" Issa Tittle.
So Daniels looking over the line here now. First and goal from the 5. For number 22 to get the ball these situations. Instead, it's Daniels to the air, left corner, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver that time was Tim McMahon, number 20. There you see him.
Well, Tim McMahon also 6'2". Again, they're picking on Issa Tittle at 5'6". Figuring throw it to a corner. You got isolation one-on-one out there. Let your big guy run under it or jump up for it. He can certainly outreach the guy he's got 6 inches advantage on.
Brad Spencer is split out here the near side. Here's Clifford and his 3rd touchdown of the night. He's got 20 on the year, and just like that, Naperville Central leads it 20-0. 5-yard run that time by Ryan Clifford.
Well, they spread it out that time. He makes it look easy, just makes one man miss in the arm tackle. You're just not going to bring him down on an arm tackle, Mark. And like somebody who's been there 20 times, he just hands it to the official.
Yeah.
Unlike some guy named Curtis Enos.
Yes. So in for the 3rd time tonight, Kyle Adams with the extra point attempt. Gerald Clark holding, and it is good. So with 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Naperville Central 21, West Aurora nothing. We'll come back here to West Aurora right after this. Kyle Adams' kick goes into the end zone, so West Aurora will take over 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line. Ryan Jackman and company trying to put a drive together here. 3 first-quarter touchdowns by Ryan Clifford to give him 20 on the year so far. First and 10 West. Shotgun again for the Blackhawks. Jackman gives it to Foster. Foster will barrel to the 24-yard line. 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Found out that the school record, Steve, for Naperville Central for touchdowns in a season was Jim Tumulty. Of course, remember him in the early 90s. Do not know what that number is. I promise I will get it to you by next week. We will have Naperville Central next week, their first game at home. Of course, some field problems there. It's their homecoming against Wheaton North. Ryan Clifford may be well on his way to that record. Blackhawks keep it on the ground to the 25-yard line is Redling. I remember him, Jim Tumulty, along with Lavery, the fine quarterback back in the early 90s.
Oh, you're not kidding. There have been some great football players in the DVC. You just named 2 of them there just in the recent history. And Mark, if there's a better conference in the state, which I don't think there is, first of all,
agree with you.
Top to bottom, there may not be a better one in the entire Midwest.
What Glenbard East has done this year, Jackman will keep it himself, and he'll get close to the 30-yard line, which is where they need to get for the first down, depending on the mark. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Steve. Of course, Wheaton, Warrenville South, Naperville North. I mentioned Glenbard East. The Rams are undefeated going into tonight's game. Of course, they got a tough ball game. They're playing host to the Tigers of Wheaton, Warrenville South, who, by the way, have not lost 2 games in a row since the beginning of the 1997 season. But the Rams are for real. They're a very good ball club. Glenbard North is at Wheaton North tonight, and West Chicago is at Naperville North. Other action around the DVC. West did pick up the first down, just barely. Jackman will get hammered from behind. Boy, that was number 55, Kevin Yazel, the senior, putting on the big hit. The Azel spelling Luke Summers.
Boy, he's a little shaken up there. You see Ryan getting the cobwebs out there. Again, the Redhawks pursue the ball so well. As soon as he stops, he's got somebody right behind him. You got to keep moving.
So a loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 12. A minute and a half remaining in this opening quarter. I formation this time. Jackman will flushed out here to the near side, and he will not get the ball off, and he will get brought down at the 26-yard line. Looked like number 90, Ken Kotke, the junior defensive tackle, was there on the stop.
I'll tell you what, Mark, they are relentless. Maybe the Blackhawks can get something across, maybe short passes. Get Nate Eimer open from the tight end position. Maybe they get the football to him a couple times here to keep them a little bit honest. They're pursuing the quarterback in a big way. Hey, let them come on in and just dump it over their heads.
3rd down and 14 for West. Again, shotgun. Jackman again gets flushed out, this time to the left side. Will let it go. Oh, it is bobbled, but he did come down with it at the 40-yard line. That's close to a 1st down. That's his favorite target, Kevin Jenkins.
A nice grab by number 14.
Good concentration, Steve. We'll take another look.
A little juggling act. Kevin, a very good athlete, Mark. You'll see him go up, concentrate on the ball, gets hit from behind, and hangs on.
Gerald Clark with the hit, seeing a nice strong arm that time by the quarterback, Ryan Jackman. So West, another 1st down from their own 40-yard line here. 20 seconds remaining here in this opening quarter. Two wideouts here to the near side this time for Coach Jefferson. The pitch, Foster, maybe a yard on the play, brought down by number 46 for Naperville Central, Drew Coxis, 6'2", 220-pound junior linebacker. And that's the end of the first quarter, a first quarter in which we saw Ryan Clifford score 3 touchdowns to bring his season total now to 20 on the year. At the end of one quarter, Naperville Central 21, West Aurora nothing. For more on tonight's game, let's go down on the field to Lisa Aprati with a guest. Lisa, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with Rick Slocum. He is a school board member in the West Aurora district, as well as a booster club member. He also has the backup quarterback for West Aurora High School is his son. He has a son that just graduated, and an 8th grader that will be coming to West Aurora here soon. You have been involved in actually all the renovations of West Aurora High School. Tell us some of the things that have been completed.
Well, Lisa, we have a new addition in front that's 22 classrooms, plus a technology center, plus a new library. We've also renovated the field house with a brand new floor, a beautiful facility, added a weight room, new locker rooms, and also new girls' facilities, and a new front on the gym, about a $27 million project. So it's beautiful facilities. It'll be done in about another 45 days.
Well, I took a look at the front of the school. It's just beautiful. Just did a very nice job architecturally with the building.
We're very proud of it. I think the taxpayers and the parents and the students are all very proud of it, and the students in it really enjoy it.
Now, how long have you been a school board member?
Since 1991.
So you are actually here for the inception of actually doing all the renovations for the school district?
Absolutely. We passed the referendum, and we went through that, and then we went on and did the addition. Also built a new middle school of about $15 million.
That's fantastic. Is that that's one school, or do you have other schools that you're also renovating?
We've renovated throughout the district, and now we're starting to build a new elementary school.
Oh, build one altogether, a brand new one.
Yes.
Oh,
so,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you really have done quite a bit for the Aurora area.
Absolutely, and it's a tribute to the parents and the taxpayers that supported us through funding of these projects and then building them.
Well, it's nice to see the support tonight in this game. The stands are packed. There's no place to sit.
It's a great crowd. We need to change the score a little bit, but we're working on that.
Well, Rick, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa, for coming.
Thank you. I'll send it back upstairs to the guys.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. 2nd down and 10 now for West Aurora, offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct calls, Steve. Actually, 3rd down and 6 now for West. Extracurricular activities between Kevin Jenkins and Joe Havig. Offsetting penalties. 3rd and 6 now for the Blackhawks from their own 43. Jackman pitches to Foster. He'll cut back, but a nice tackle by Brian Euler, the strong safety, at about the 44-yard line, so it'll be 4th down.
Tell you what, Mark, that was textbook that time by Brian Euler for his corner spot. He breaks up, does not allow the man to come to him. He runs up to him, then breaks down, and he's set, and he can go laterally either way and just makes the tackle. Flat out shoots for the ball carrier.
So Jackman back at his own 32-yard line. Ryan Clifford is standing at his own 30. There's a look at Ryan. Jackman right at Clifford, right at the 29-yard line. And Clifford will have about a 4-yard return back at the 34-yard line, and that's where Naperville Central will take over here with 10:42 remaining in the first half.
Well, Mark, as you well know, baseball players will ice down their arm after pitching. Ryan Jackman will have to ice down his arm, his leg, his entire body. He looks like he's been beat up already as he comes to the sideline. And I tell you what, we've only played 1 quarter, but he does a little bit of everything for this West Aurora team.
Kevin Yazel, Scott Urban, each with a couple of hits on Jackman. Movement there on the right side. It looked like that was a tight end, Pat Hinsberger, 6'4", 240-pound senior. A little movement.
Mark, that's the first thing they've done wrong all night.
Yes. There's the call against Naperville Central. Push them back 5, and it'll be 1st and 15 from their own 29. Well, Steve, I think that ball game last week, that 28-13 victory over Wheaton Warrenville South, took away any doubt in these Naperville Central players and coaching staffs that, hey, we got a team that can win a state title.
Well, I think they knew they were good to start with, Mark, but I tell you what, that's a tremendous confidence builder when you're able to take the top dog down. Let's just put it that way.
Daniels, look at the arm. The pass is complete to number 32, Willie Mays. I should say that's Kevin Knoll, I'm sorry, the wide out for Naperville Central. I'm looking at West's lineup here. Boy, the arm by Owen Daniels hitting Kevin Knoll. There you see him, number 32 on the left side of your screen.
Tell you what, Mark, almost lost in this offense is a guy like Kevin Knoll. Yep. At 6'3", 185, just a junior, who showed us some skills right there once he caught the football. He's got some breakaway speed and a little hard to bring down. Take another look at it. Daniels, the bullet right on the money, just a quick down and out, and he just makes the defender miss, and he's running away from people right there.
First down, Redhawks, I formation. It's the tailback Clifford, up the middle run. He'll have the first down and more inside the 20, and he is in. Touchdown, Ryan Clifford, 32 yards out. His 4th touchdown of the night, his 21st of the season.
Well, wow. Mark, we touched on Jim Tumulty a little bit earlier, and I tell you what, I don't know if he was as good as what Ryan has showed us here through this first half, making everybody miss.
Watson missed the tackle. Dontel Thomas just couldn't catch up to him, and Ryan Clifford, touchdown number 4. Again, it's Gerald Clark to hold. Kyle Adams, his 4th extra point is good, so he's perfect, 4 for 4. Naperville Central all over the Blackhawks of West Aurora, 28-0. There you see it, 10 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Ryan Clifford, all 4 touchdowns for Naperville Central. Coach Joe Bungie in his 14th year as the head coach of Naperville Central. 112-40 is his record overall, including his record as an assistant. 174-54. Of course, last year's team 8-4 overall, 5-2 in the DuPage Valley Conference. Those 2 losses, of course, coming to that Wheaton Warrenville South team. So getting ready to kick off for Naperville Central, Kyle Adams. and hold everything here as the football went on its side. They'll redo it.
Well, that was a pretty good trick.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the West Aurora students, although their team's down by quite a bit, they're still trying to be somewhat vocal. Well, Mark, you talked about the game we're doing next week. The game we did last week, by the way, was one of the 2 focus games USA Today had in their high school football section, talking about Larkin's defeat of Neuqua Valley, that game we brought to you last week.
From his own 10-yard line, coming across here to the near side and shoved out of bounds. Boy, he was hit hard out of bounds. That was number 24 West, Issa Tittle.
One of the first times the West Aurora faithful really got a chance to get excited about something right there. A nice run, nice return by Issa. Looked like he had a little more room in the outside. And Blackhawks will start off in pretty good position at the 34.
Issa, one of the quicker Blackhawks. So we see Brandon Foster step out for this play. Nate Banks comes split out here to the near side, split backfield. Again, it's from the shotgun. 1st and 10 from their own 34. 10-minute mark for this first half. Jackman will dump it off across the middle. Pass is complete. Dragged down at the 44-yard line. Pass complete to the fullback, Brian Redling.
I tell you what, again, Mark, I've had the good fortune of coaching Brian, a good kid. Pretty quiet most of the time, at least around the coaches, but a kid with good hands, an infielder. Did some catching for us. He'll also try out for baseball here at West Aurora, I'm sure, but you saw the hands that time coming out of the backfield. That's exactly what I was talking about before. There's a big seam opening up underneath that coverage and that defensive line surge that they could dump the ball across that middle, and that's what they did there.
So the Redling reception gives the Blackhawks the first down. Handoff to Tittle. Tittle will cut back on the spin move, get across midfield, still going to the 45-yard line. A fine run that time by Issa Tittle to give the Blackhawks another first down.
Excellent job by Issa Tittle making some things happen. You know, I mentioned that you were picking on him at the cornerback position earlier, throwing to their taller receivers. Well, hey, he's got the advantage of the reverse side. When he's on offense, he's hard to find in the crowd. And a little jab step here and there and some moves, and he'll take another look at it. Here he kind of gets lost. Once he changes direction, makes one man miss. Another one there, and I tell you what, just keeps his head and shoulders down. Good run by Issa.
Good job of staying on top, keeping his balance. Shotgun again, Jackman. This time with some pretty good time. Pass nearly picked off, intended for Redling. He couldn't hang on to it. Matt Paremba almost picked it off for the Redhawks, number 48.
That ball ricocheted around a little bit. There you get a sideline angle view over Dontel Thomas's shoulder. See what he can see from his vantage point.
It'll be 2nd down and 10. There you see it. It's been all Naperville Central here. 8:50 to go here in this first half. Ryan Clifford scoring all 4 touchdowns for Naperville Central. Tittle the run. Shy of the 40-yard line to about the 41-yard line. Brought down by number 46 for Naperville Central, Drew Coxis. Good look at Tittle coming off.
That's the first time the Blackhawks have had the football across midfield. Finally starting to move the football a little bit against this Vaughan defense and changing things up a little bit, giving them a little bit of everything to look at here and keep them back on their heels.
3rd and 7 West from the 41-yard line of Naperville Central. Jackman on the option will pitch it to Foster in the open field, and he'll get wrapped up by Joe Alvarez. Fine open field tackle by the defensive tackle.
Unbelievable, Mark. 6'3", 235, Joe Alvarez, and he ran him down. He cut the corner off on Mr. Foster, and I tell you what, that's not going to happen very often, but this defense is not only big but quick.
Absolutely. Scott Urban, we mentioned him, the linebacker. He's 6'3". We've seen his quickness. At that time, we've seen the quickness from Joe Alvarez. Steve mentioned also 6'3". Well, it'll be 4th down and 4. West will go for it here from the 39-yard line of Naperville Central. 3 wideouts here. Shotgun formation again. Jackman will keep it himself, and that pocket just gets collapsed. And again, it's Scott Urban coming from the outside to wrap him up.
Well, when you've got some of the big bodies that they do up front, you're able to bring a couple extra guys. And right away, Jackman saw the blitz coming, knew he was not going to have time to get that pass off. He thought, well, hey, maybe I can duck inside here and get through. But, boy, it collapsed in a hurry.
Boy, before the season, Steve, a lot of these Naperville Central players did not get a lot of pub. I mean, we talk about Ryan Clifford and Scott Urban. Not a lot of write-up about them, but they have really stepped it up during the season. And I'll tell you what, they have risen to the occasion. Keep it on the ground across the 45 to the 47-yard line. About an 8-yard gain that time.
Now, again, the big bodies up front, Mark, even when West Aurora does just about everything right there, he still got 5 yards out of that to Jonathan Mulholland. And just, you know, bodies pushing, bigger bodies pushing smaller bodies out of the way. It just comes down to sheer force and size.
Mulholland, the fullback, 6 foot, 220-pound senior for Coach Joe Bungie. 2nd down and 5. This is Clifford. And he'll try to cut back up, but he tripped or slipped at about the 45-yard line. They'll spot it at the 46, so no gain that time. It'll be about 3rd and 5.
Well, we found out who can stop him.
The ground.
Himself.
Yeah.
He slips and falls for no gain. It's the first time he has not gone a long ways with the football once he's touched it.
From the 46-yard line, 3rd and 5.
Well, that's a big play confidence-wise for this West Aurora defense.
Daniels will hand it off to Clifford. Make a spin move. He'll have the 1st down inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. 1st down, Redhawks.
They just cannot tackle him up high, Mark. He spins away from the defender, almost makes it look easy. Upper body strength, and the defender for the Blackhawks, you'll see here, reaching high instead of going low. Up high, you'll never get him.
So 1st and 10, Naperville Central from the 43-yard line. Get the I formation. Long count here by Daniels. And this is the fullback Mulholland. Up the middle running. Maybe a yard, if that. Yard or 2.
Well, no sooner than I make that remark about that offensive line surge, and they make a liar out of me. A good job that time by West Aurora to clock things up in the middle. You know, Mark, I touched on the USA Today Central's ranking of number 11 nationally, and they go state by state report on other high school football actions from the week. And the other game they mentioned, or 2 other games they mentioned, one was our broadcast last week. The other one was Evergreen Park and their upset of Canelan, 35-0, breaking the Knights' 31-game winning streak.
2nd down, Daniels to the air. Pass is complete to Knoll. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Kevin Knoll from Owen Daniels, 41 yards.
You see the celebration in the end zone. I tell you what, I don't know if we got it on the replay, but he put a nice move on, and the defender slipped. And then it was all just a matter of Knoll just catching the ball. That's all he had to do was wait for it. Was Kevin Knoll. He made it look somewhat easy there as he just ran underneath the football.
So in for the extra point now will be Kyle Adams for the 5th time tonight. The hold by Gerald Clark, and it is good. So Adams 5 for 5. Naperville Central leading it 35-0 over West Aurora with 4 minutes and 43 seconds to go. And Steve, looking back over last week once again, Naperville Central against Wheaton Warrenville South. Our congratulations to Joe Bungie of Naperville Central. He was named the Chicago Bears High School Coach of the Week. Bears president Ted Phillips put that program together. Apparently, Coach Joe Bungie will get $1,500 to be donated to the Naperville Central football program. So congratulations to Coach Bungie.
Well, all right.
He'll also get about 50 T-shirts for his football team. Think we can get a couple from him?
I don't know, Mark. Depends on who you know.
Yeah, right. Pretty good kick all the way into the end zone. Tittle lets it go, and West Aurora will take over 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line. Let's step aside and let our sponsors identify themselves for tonight's game.
The game of the week is brought to you in part by SportsMed for Peer Acceleration Sports Training Centers in Darien and Carroll Stream. Take yourself to the next level with acceleration. And by Giordano's Restaurant and Pizzeria, located in Glen Ellen and Naperville. Enjoy their world-famous stuffed pizza, pickup, or delivery.
Pass is complete from Ryan Jackman. Who's that, number 84 for West Aurora? That looks like Nate Eimer, the tight end.
Now they're able to get the ball to Nate, I believe the first time this evening, but Ryan Jackman really paid for it there. You see Nate getting hit hard, but Ryan got hit even harder after he let go of that football. It took him a while to get up, but he's a tough kid, Mark. Struggled to his feet, and then he'll just jog back to the huddle and say, all right, let's go at it again.
Gerald Clark with the hit on Eimer. From the 38, 1st and 10 for West Aurora. Jackman will hand the ball off, first man through to the 40-yard line. About a 2-yard gain that time, Steve. The ball carrier was Jason Bessert, 5'11", 180-pound senior.
Well, Mark, you brought up that Coach of the Week honor to Joe Bungie, and Chicago Bears have something to do with that. And I happen to have just mentioned that Evergreen Park Canelan game, and that tied into our game last week, our broadcast last week, because we mentioned Don Beebe, the former Canelan graduate, and Buffalo Bill and Green Bay Packer is helping out at Neuqua Valley. We also have another Bear connection here tonight.
Steve will tell us about that after this play. Oh, pass is nearly picked off by Ken Spanton, the defensive back, intended for Jenkins.
Tell you what, sometimes they say the receiver hears footsteps. Kevin Jenkins saw feet in front of him. He knew somebody was going to come up to hit him, and that ball was leading him a little too far. He was not going to overextend to try and get to it. But
so who's here? Is William the Refrigerator Perry here?
Well, not quite that connection. During our broadcast last week, we mentioned another Waubonsee Valley graduate, Fabian Bones, and his connection to Chicago Bears. And, of course, he did in the Bears after our broadcast a couple days later as a member of the Seattle Seahawks now after being with Chicago Bears for 3 years. But his father, Larry Shepard, is our PA announcer here tonight at West Aurora.
Very good. 3rd down and 7 for the Blackhawks. Jackman rolling out to his right, now running out of real estate and forced out of bounds by Nick Zaranti, number 49.
Let's hope he comes back. He doesn't get lost over there. Well, at this point, he may as well put one of their jerseys on. He's been with those guys a lot tonight. Their defense has been able to get to him at times and really put some hard hits on him.
Ryan Clifford standing back at his own 32-yard line.
But the connection there also, our old buddy Jim Edmondson. That's Larry Shepard is his uncle.
So Jackman to punt from his own 33-yard line. And it's Knoll returning it from his own 15. Cut back. And take another look at it here, Steve. From their own 17, Ryan Clifford. Look at this hole as he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Well, there was not a Blackhawk within 5 to 10 yards of the football when he came through that line of scrimmage. That makes it awful tough. They just opened up a huge hole that time. Tell you what, we could have drove our van, our production truck through that baby. With Jill at the wheel, Jill Robertson at the wheel, I think we'd have had no problem there.
60-yard run that time by Ryan Clifford. Daniels to the air, to the near side, and it is incomplete. Tim McMahon, the intended receiver. Coverage by Issa Tittle. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 37 with 2:27 to go in the first half.
Now again, about the only time Ryan Clifford hasn't had a fairly big gain carrying the football tonight is when he fell down the one time trying to make a cut. And because the end zone was too close. He has been all over the place.
2nd down and 10. Owen Daniels and the Naperville Central Redhawks. The give is to Clifford. Clifford will have the 1st down, looking for the end zone inside the 10, and he'll get stopped at about the 1-yard line. 36-yard run that time by Clifford. Boy, oh boy, we'll take another look at it here. Ryan Clifford.
There's not much fancy about this. He just cuts to the outside, and he runs past 3 people right there, makes 2 miss. He's going to carry 1 guy here, and tell you what, he was awful close to that end zone.
Hinsberger with a nice tackle up the field, the tight end, but see a flag, but it looks like we're going to bring this one back, though, Steve.
Wow, there was a flag somewhere at the end of that play, I guess, Mark.
Oh, holding there. You see the call against Naperville Central, so bring the run back. They'll spot it at the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
What was that other run just a few minutes ago, Mark? You said how many yards was it?
I think about a 60-yard. They were at their own 17, and he went to the 37. Daniels back in the open flat. That's the tight end, Hinsberger. Pat will get about to the 43-yard line. Actually, a 50-yard run, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Mark,
50
by my
yards
math.
by Ryan Clifford.
You know, last week you had to look up the word umbrage. Now this week, well, I'm not sure about that. North Central College.
Oh, no, man.
I won't go there. I won't go there. All right.
All right, 3rd and 14. Daniels, look at the time he's got. And pass incomplete, intended for Knoll. The coverage by Tittle, but Steve, the time that Daniels had.
Oh, Mark, that was almost bordering on obnoxious amount of time, because I tell you what, he just stood there and did whatever he wanted to. And again, you've got some huge bodies up front. Don Baskin, 6'5", 290. Dave Hildebrand, 6'5", 275. Jeff Pearson, 6'3", 260. Ty Mackles, 5'11", 215. Doug Rehor, 6'1", 225. And then you got a tight end who is 6'4", 240. Mark, those are college-sized young men, and they're still in high school. And I tell you what, they can give their quarterback a lot of time.
4th and 14, Redhawks going for it. Daniels flushed out here the near side, airs it out. Knoll, jump ball, and Kevin came down with it at the 25.
Oh, my goodness. How did he catch that football? I'm not sure how he came away with that football. And Daniels is lucky. You see the shoulder pad ripped out. We'll take another look. He's scrambling, and he just throws this up, Mark. He knew he had a receiver there, just throws it up in the air.
Just went up and got it.
And he caught somebody off guard there for West Aurora. I know Jake Kaler was one of the guys there, but Jake is also 6'2", and certainly could have went up and gotten that football with him, but I think he was back on his heels.
From the 26-yard line, so on 4th and 14, complete to Kevin Knoll for the 1st down. 1st and 10 Central from the 26. Minute 15 to go here in this first half. Daniels looking for more points. The corner is Knoll.
Oh, my goodness.
Did he come down with a touchdown? What a catch. Kevin Knoll, 26 yards. I can't believe he brought that one down. The coverage again was Issa Tittle. But what a grab by the junior wideout for Naperville Central.
Well, they saw it again, isolation. The big guy against the shorter player in Issa Tittle, and just threw it up there, let him jump under. That's just a tremendous catch. He turned his body, all hands. Issa was all over him. A good job by Tittle that time, but I tell you what, there's not much you can do when the guy makes an acrobatic catch.
Clark to hold. The extra point by Adams makes it 42-0 in favor of Naperville Central with 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining here in this first half. And just a reminder, coming up at halftime, Lisa Friday will have an interview with Jim Martinson from SportsMed for Peer Acceleration. It's coming up at the break. Well, Steve, I think Naperville Central answered our question about any type of a letdown after that big win last week against Wheaton Warrenville South. 42-0.
Well, Mark, the question now is at what point do you take your starters
Absolutely.
out of this football game, save some people, and football's a tough game. You risk injuries at just about any time, but when you're way ahead, there's certainly no point to keep the top dogs in the game and risk losing them for a portion or the rest of the season.
So the kick by Adams from the 10-yard line, bringing it back to the 30-yard line, was Jenkins, number 14. Minute 3 to go here in this first half.
And Jason Bessert got a little stinger there coming off slowly for West Aurora, and getting beat up a little bit right now, Mark. Not only in the scoreboard, but some big bodies from Naperville Central flying around this football field.
1st and 10, West Aurora from their own 31. Shotgun. Going in motion is Foster. Jackman looking here to the near side, and pass is incomplete, intended for Jenkins. The coverage by Mitchell Nowicki. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, Jackman just did not have the time that he wanted to. Mark had to get rid of that football a little bit quicker. Pressure applied again up the middle. Looked like Scott Urban again in there for the Redhawks.
Our friends cross side of town, the East Aurora Tomcats tonight, playing host to Bartlett.
Maybe
Congratulations to Coach Panka, winning the ball game last week against Streamwood.
In overtime.
2nd down and 10 now for the Blackhawks. Again, that shotgun formation. Heavy pressure by Urban. The pass is incomplete. Double coverage that time. The receiver, Nate Banks.
Well, you touch on the Tomcats, Mark. Indeed, congratulations go out for the victory. The Tomcats trying to turn the corner, a program that, tell you what, 20 years ago would have played with either one of these two football teams. But the Tomcats falling on hard times, but Coach Panka certainly gotten the bodies out there again. The Tomcats suiting up quite a few more players and getting the student body interested in football again.
The scoreboard here at Ken Zimmerman Field. 53 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 10. Jackman across the middle. Pass is complete to Banks. And he'll get pushed out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Pushed out by Joe Havig, the cornerback.
Good job by Nathan Banks that time to know where the first down marker's at. First ball stop, good hands, and then he headed right for the sideline to try and stop the clock. Excellent job of football, good heads-up play.
They spotted at the 45 as we'll take another look at it here. The fine connection between Jackman and Banks.
And just like a middle infielder in baseball, you got to get your hands away from your body, and that's what he did. Hands up above and away from his head to haul that football in.
1st and 10 Blackhawks from their own 45. 46 seconds left to go in this first half. Jackman,
he's got him.
Action, and he's got his man Jenkins at the 21-yard line. The tackle by Joe Havig, but a flag, hold everything back at the 47, and an injured Blackhawk.
Oh, that's Jackman, Mark. He got hit pretty hard after he let go of that football. There you see Coach Ira Jefferson right out there to check on his quarterback.
Take another look at it here, Steve. The heavy pressure by the Red Hawk defense.
Boom, right there. A helmet right into the stomach. Perfect throw right in stride to Jenkins. Beautiful play by the Blackhawks.
It looked like that was 42 Scott Urban with the hit on Jackman. But I believe a penalty is against West Aurora, Steve.
Well, looked like someone, ineligible receiver, I think someone in the offensive line took off a little too soon.
It is indeed against the Blackhawks, so that will negate that fine catch by Jenkins.
Boy, does that hurt. That adds somewhat an insult to injury. You get a great play, your quarterback gets hurt on the same play, quarterback and punter.
So 1st down and 15 now. The pass is complete to Banks. Banks gets across midfield and brought down at the 46-yard line. Quarterback John Slocum, the backup quarterback number 6 for West Aurora, with the connection to Nate Banks.
Kevin Yeasel welcomed him to the football game. Almost a replay of the last one where as soon as he let go, he got a helmet to the stomach.
Jackman's walking back to the huddle now. Is there a timeout on the field? I didn't.
Indeed, there is. The Blackhawks called time, Mark.
Exactly 15 seconds remaining here in this first half. Naperville Central 42, West Aurora nothing. A first half in which we saw Ryan Clifford do his thing. He's got 4 touchdowns to bring his season total to 21 touchdowns on the year.
Well, Mark, the way he's going, you think maybe they'll name a beverage after? Oh, they already have RC Cola, that's right.
Oh, my.
Tell
RC,
you what.
Ryan Clifford.
Well, you mentioned that East Aurora playing tonight. Also, maybe the big game in the Upstate 8 Conference, the conference that the Blackhawks were a member of forever until just a couple of years ago. That would be Waubonsee Valley and Larkin. Larkin, number 5, ranked in 6A in the state of Illinois, taking on the Waubonsee Valley Warriors.
It's at Death Valley, if I'm not mistaken.
Waubonsee
right?
Valley. And
both teams 2-0 in
Indeed.
the Upstate 8 Conference. Should be a good ball game. Second down and 1 here. Jackman to the lead. Nate Eimer to the 36-yard line. Clock stops with 8 seconds to go.
our buddy Ron Griffin, one of the assistants over there at Waubonsee Valley, he predicted a very good game tonight. Thought his Warriors were going to play right up there with Mr. Shabert and the Larkin Royals.
West Aurora calling a timeout here. Again, next week, we will be at Naperville Central. It'll be the first time Naperville Central will be playing at their home field next week against Wheaton North for their homecoming next Friday, October 1st.
And a reminder, this game here will be aired Monday, September 27th at 7 p.m., Tuesday the 28th at 11 a.m. That's about when you're getting up, isn't it? Friday, October 1st at 7 p.m., Saturday the 2nd of October at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., and also Sunday, October 3rd, when Mark is plastered to his couch, at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. broadcast as well. You've got the remote on those Sundays. You've got that football package, right? You get the college games on Saturday, all the pro games on Sunday. You're flipping channels.
Hey, not to mention, we got some pretty good baseball, too. This is that time of year, Major League Baseball. 1st and 10 here for West Aurora with 8 seconds to go here in the first half. Jackman will step up, have some time, air it out, and it is out of bounds and incomplete, and that is the end of the first half. A first half which was dominated by the number 1 ranked team in the state of Illinois, Coach Joe Bunge's Redhawks of Naperville Central. Redhawks leading it at the break, 42-0. Lisa Prati will be back with Jim Martinson of SportsMed. We'll get to that interview right after this timeout.
Giordano's in Naperville has been serving Chicago's famous stuffed pizza for over 20 years and also features a large variety of pastas and more. Come in and visit their large dining room or hold your special event in their recently dedicated Cradle Room. For your convenience, Giordano's also offers pickup or fast, friendly delivery. Whether it's pasta for lunch, pizza for dinner, or for your favorite late-night snack, just pick up the phone and give Giordano's a call. Centrally located on Ogden Avenue in Naperville, phone 717-6446.
Welcome back to Channel 4's Game of the Week. Naperville Central up 42-0 against West Aurora at the half. And with me is Jim Martinson. He's with Sports Med Frappier Acceleration with the Darien facility. And Jim, tell me a little bit about what we're talking about for our halftime report.
Well, we're talking today about sprint cords. Basically, our sprint cord technology is something that was unique, and we have the patent onto our program. So it's basically impossible for someone to replicate the kind of demands that we can place on an athlete with these sprint cords.
Tell us a little bit about the cords themselves and how they benefit the athletes.
Basically, the sprint cords are a high velocity resistance training technique. When you use the sprint cords, you're doing game or skill specific actions with these cords attached to your body. What's unique about them is they have a dual attachment site, so it's loading both ends of the limb or the arm or the legs or the hips and the girdle or whatever it is that you're working on, so that you're using the whole kinetic chain.
Right.
So
So it's not necessarily just for your legs. I mean, as we were talking earlier, baseball players really do benefit from it.
Yep, the baseball players really absolutely love our throwing cord. We've done studies with the throwing cord and seen an average increase of velocity between 4 and 6 miles per hour, and that is very impressive. And many baseball players from the Major League Baseballs are seeking out this type of technology to help improve their game.
Absolutely. Well, then tell us a little bit about, for football, how it can actually increase speed.
Well, when the football players, when they do our sports-specific program, we can basically attach them onto their legs, and the receivers can go and actually run their routes with the trainer behind them. So then they're practicing making their cuts, working on their explosive first step, which all the receivers really want to have.
Right.
The defensive and offensive linemen, or specifically the defensive linemen, we can put the cords on them, and they can work on their rip moves or swim moves or whatever it is that they need to work on. And offensive linemen, we can work on their footsteps for dropping back to getting the pass blocking or coming off the ball and explosive movements, and working on pulling or whatever it is that your sport or position demands. If you just use a little creative thinking, you can apply the cords to help increase their movements.
What is the time span, though, for the workout for something like that?
Usually those sessions are about a half hour long, and those are one-on-one with the trainer. If we can, we like to pair it up where we can get a quarterback and a receiver together, or a quarterback and a running back, or an offensive and defensive lineman, and we'll get them together for an hour and spend an hour working on them, because then they can have someone to go against, and helps to really get a little more almost sport-specific activity with that as well.
Now, you were talking a little bit about some of the professional teams that you'd work with, or some of the professional athletes. Do you find that you're finding out a lot more are actually contact you in regards to the sprint cords?
Definitely. As the program becomes more and more acclaimed, the scouts are finding out about us. They're sending their players to us to help prepare their younger athletes to be drafted and put that. So definitely the word is out. We've got NFL agents that send their players to us, so it's a good thing.
I would definitely think, though, in high school, though, for some of the players who would really like to continue on with their career playing football or playing baseball, that they would definitely, try to contact you and work with your program.
That's the whole idea. The players themselves, they can understand what it takes to become a refined athlete. You have your genetic capabilities. You're working very hard in your practices and skills. But really, until you experience what the acceleration program is all about, you just really don't understand how hard it is, and also how much it will benefit you in the long run.
When did you first get the sprint cords? Is this something that you've had for a while?
Yeah, they've been with our program since the inception.
Okay.
And they put the patent on it right away, so no one else could take it.
I believe that.
So we've seen an average increase, as far as the muscle activity and so forth, we've seen an average increase about 200% more muscle fibers to contract while they're doing this activity, which is exactly what they're going to be doing in a game. You do that over the period of time, there's no way that you're not going to get better at your sport and your refined movements, such as throwing for baseball and football players as quarterbacks, running your routes. For baseball players, we also have a hitting harness to increase bat speed. So if you want to hit the ball further, use the hitting harness, and it's great for increasing bat speed as well.
And this is all the equipment that you have is all within your facilities at Darien as well as Carroll Stream.
Yep. Both facilities are fully equipped with sprint cords.
Okay, well, we have the telephone numbers. We'll put them on the screen for both the Darien facility as well as the Carroll Stream facility. Jim, once again, thank you for coming out. We always learn so much because nobody really has any idea when it actually comes to all the specific equipment for some of the high school athletes.
It's great. We have a wonderful facility out in Darien and in Carroll Stream with lots of different neat tools and toys to play with. So it keeps it fun for us as well.
Right. Well, you look like you have a good time with it also.
Of course I do.
Very excited about his job. Sports Med for Peer Acceleration. The numbers are on the screen. We will be back with second half action. Right now, Naperville Central in the lead, 42, to nothing. We'll be back with the second half right after this.
Do you want more from your cable company? Well, I do too. And it's my job to help make it a better one. It's simple, really. We listen to what you want. Then we do our best to make it happen. So you want more from our cable company? You got it.
I'm Leo Hendry. The merger with AT&T has changed our name, but we're still here. Same place, same phone number. Call us anytime.
Mark Kruger, Steve Moga, Lisa Prati back here at Ken Zimmerman Field. There you see it. We are at halftime with Naperville Central leading it by a score of 42-0. We'll recap first half scoring. It only took the Red Hawks a minute and a half to score their first touchdown. Ryan Clifford from 1 yard out. Kyle Adams with the extra point attempt made the score 7-0 Naperville Central. Then with 8 minutes and 3 seconds left, Ryan Clifford with his second touchdown of the evening from 26 yards out. Extra point by Adams was good to make it 14-0. Then with 3 minutes and 53 seconds left to go, we're still in the first quarter. It was Ryan Clifford once again from 5 yards out. Adams with an extra point to make it 21-0. Then in the second quarter, it was that man once again, number 22, Ryan Clifford, at the 10-minute and 1 second mark of the second quarter. 32-yard run for his 21st touchdown of the year. The extra point by Adams was good to make it 28-0. And then quarterback Owen Daniels went to the air. A 41-yard touchdown strike from Daniels to Kevin Knoll. The extra point good to make it 35-0. And then with just over a minute to go in the first half, Daniels once again from 26 yards out to Kevin Knoll. The extra point by Adams to make it 42-0. In favor of Naperville Central.
Well, thanks for doing my job, Mark, while I was gone. And contrary to rumor, I was not at the concession stand. Checking on a couple things. Ryan Clifford, 7 carries for 122 yards through the first half of play.
So we're about ready to begin second half action. Eric Stone kicking it away for West Aurora. Naperville Central takes it back to about the 40-yard line.
Seemed like the wind picked up a little bit more there, Mark. Not a very far kick at all as they took that in at about the 30-yard line. Also checking in with our old buddy Bill Wyatt. A couple booths down here at halftime.
Bill is a good guy.
He and Mike Leonardi working on this broadcast for another station, but something related there to West Aurora football and athletics. I'll tell you here in a moment.
Well, Daniels gives the pitch to Clifford. Tittle will wrap him up from behind and bring him down at about the 38-yard line. A loss of maybe a yard on the play. Sophomore game played earlier today, won by the visiting Red Hawks. 50-13 was the final score in the sophomore game. Opening drive here of this third quarter. Naperville Central, second down and 10 from their own 39. I formation, Daniels to the air, to the far side. Pass is complete. That's number 3, Brad Spencer. Spencer will bring it out to about the 47. It'll be a couple yards shy of the first down. It'll be third down and a couple. Big scoring here in the first half. Ryan Clifford with 4 touchdowns. Kevin Knoll with 2. Naperville Central in command here. The number 1 ranked team in the state. 3rd down and 3 now for Naperville Central. Owen Daniels will hand it off to Clifford. Break 1 tackle. And now he'll get gang tackled at the 45-yard line. Short of the first down, so for the first time tonight, Naperville Central will punt it away. Dontel Thomas originally had him wrapped up, but he broke that tackle. Well, they're actually going to go for it here. So hold everything, no punting unit. I formation for Central, 4th and 4, whistles before the play developed. So interesting call here for Coach Bungie, 4th and 4. And a timeout. So before the play developed, West Aurora calling a timeout here. They did not get their defensive unit out onto the field, or at least the right personnel at least, so they call a timeout here. It'll be 4th and 4, 9:22 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And just a reminder that tonight's game between the West Aurora Blackhawks and the Naperville Central Redhawks being brought to you by the fine folks over at Giordano's. Famous stuffed pizza, 796 Royal St. George Drive in Naperville. Give them a call tonight, folks. They have outstanding pizza. 717-6446. That's 717-6446. Give them a call tonight. We mentioned 1 week from tonight, we will again have these Naperville Central Redhawks at Naperville Central, their first home game of the year, against Wheaton North. Meanwhile, West Aurora will be right back here playing host to Glenbard East. The Rams with a very good year thus far, knocking off Naperville North. 4-0 overall, 2-0 in the DVC. They are playing host to Wheaton Warrenville South tonight. So 4th and 4 from the 45 for Naperville Central. After the timeout, movement on the defensive line. They get back, and Daniels now calls a timeout. They're trying to get him off sides, apparently, but Redhawks call a timeout here.
Well, Mark, being the consummate professional that you are, I'm sure you're able to cover all that time just now. Sorry about that. I had to check a couple facts, but that story I wanted to tell you about was, again, Bill Wyatt. And I say Uncle Bill because his nephew is none other than Greg Miller, the left-handed pitcher here from West Aurora just a couple of years ago. And he was just telling me about Big Greg. He was 10-4 in Class A ball for the Augusta Green Jackets, I believe is what they're called, down in the Southern League. And they won the championship of that league. 10-4, an ERA of just over 3.20, I believe, just right around that area. He was named their Class A pitcher of the year for the Boston Red Sox organization. So he's in Boston as we speak. We'll be getting the award from the organization. They give the awards to, not only their pitcher of the year, but their player of the year, that kind of thing. And so he's at Fenway Park, I believe, right now, getting that award.
What a talent he was, not only on the baseball field, Steve, but quite a basketball performer as well for Coach Kirkman of a couple years ago. You remember those fine teams?
That
Ryan Clifford, Steve, about a 1-yard gain that time. Did not pick up the first down, so West will take over.
That Blackhawk team, Greg Miller, amongst many others, that got second in the state in basketball, losing to Sergio McLean and company, Peoria Manual, their 4th straight championship, and the Blackhawks gave them all they could handle in that championship game, a lot more than people expected. But a fine West Aurora basketball team here in just a couple seasons ago.
That'll be 1st and 10 now for the Blackhawks. 48-yard line of Naperville Central. Ryan Jackman flushed out again. Off-balance throw is incomplete, intended for Kevin Jenkins. Some heavy pressure that time from the backside from Ken Kotke, the junior nose guard. Good look at Ryan Jackman.
Good try that time by Kevin Jenkins. Knew his quarterback was in trouble. Started to come back to the football. Jackman, though, again, had to rush that throw and couldn't quite get much on it on the run. As you well know, that's a hard thing to do there, Mr. Kruger.
Absolutely. So on the incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10 from the 48-yard line. Hand the ball off. This is Brandon Foster. Foster gets inside the 45 to the 44-yard line, where he gets wrapped up by Brian Euler, strong safety. We'll bring up 3rd down and about 7 yards to go, so a 3-yard gain by Mr. Foster. 7 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here in this 3rd quarter. Just joined us, 42-0 in favor of Naperville Central. Shotgun formation, West Aurora. Steps up, will keep it himself and get wrapped up at the 42-yard line. Bring up 4th down, and West will punt. We've got an injured Blackhawk out on the field at about the 44. He comes up, that's Jenkins, number 14, coming up very slowly. Now you mentioned Steve, Ryan Jackman. He is walking around very, very slow. The quarterback for West, he has been taking a pounding here tonight.
Well, he is going to be one sore individual come tomorrow morning.
Good look at that Red Hawk defense. It is so talented. Good mix of juniors as well as seniors on that defensive unit. Ryan Jackman now 4th down and 5 for West. Jackman with some pressure from behind, and he'll come up back to the line of scrimmage. From behind, it was Kevin Yazel who couldn't bring him down in the backfield. Jackman stepped up, got tackled right at the line of scrimmage, and on loss of downs, it will go back to Naperville Central.
Well, if you're West Aurora, you certainly cannot hang your heads at this time. You got to just keep battling, and they certainly are, but it makes things tough. Nate Eimer, amongst one of the players that time in that play, who turned around and said, hey, I'm wide open, and then all of a sudden turn around to see that his quarterback's already getting smothered. It's just not enough time for Jackman to maneuver back there.
Well, the pitch, this is number 23, John Sladek, the tailback, so it looks like the night is over for Ryan Clifford. New quarterback in there as well. I believe that's Gerald Clark. He's the backup quarterback for Naperville Central. It's a starting strong safety.
It starts to get frustrating when you cannot get things going on offense, and you're not able to do the things that you like to as far as setting up and running your pass patterns and whatnot. Well, what's the whistle for here, MC?
I do not know. Give us an opportunity to tell you that John Sladek is in the backfield along with Matt Yellen, number 44. So the night should be over for Mr. Ryan Clifford, who did it again. 4 more touchdowns tonight to bring his season total up to 21. Not sure what his total yardage was, but well over 100 yards. And this is the fullback, Matt Yellen. Yellen could be off. 10 inside the 10, and he is in. Matt Yellen, 54 yards, but hold everything, Steve. Flag at the 32-yard line.
Well, I think that's going to be a clip somewhere back in the middle of things, Mark, as he made his cut to the left side of the field and he got in the foot race.
It is the clip against West. Declined. Touchdown for the 6', 215-pound junior. Matt Yellen. Boy, looked like Ryan Clifford, doesn't he there, Steve? Dontel Thomas tackles him in the end zone. Touchdown for Matt Yellen. So Kyle Adams now, as you take a look at Coach Jefferson in his 7th year as the head coach of West Aurora. In comes the normal holder, Gerald Clark, holding for Kyle Adams. Messed up.
There's going to be a flag way on the far side. He bobbled the snap a little bit,
Yep.
tried to put it down, and the timing completely off.
That was actually Steve Brad Spencer, number 3. Gerald Clark was the normal holder.
Oh,
against
my.
West. Boy, oh boy.
It looked like a face mask, Mark, and just in a scramble there. Once that snap was fumbled around a little bit, juggled, the timing is certainly off for the kicker, but not only that, there were about 3 Red Hawks who released through the line into the end zone. A couple of West Blackhawks apparently reaching out to grab a hold of somebody, say, hey, you can't get past me into the end zone, thinking maybe the holder was going to turn around and throw to him, but never got to that point.
So Spencer now will hold for Adams.
Unfortunate, however, for West Aurora, that he'll get another crack at this. And this is no problem for Mr. Adams. He was kicking them from 30 easily before the game.
And he is perfect. So 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in this third quarter. Naperville Central leads it big by a score of 49-0. Should mention the fine crew tonight for our AT&T Cable Services Game of the Week. Our sideline reporter, Lisa Aprati. Our fine director, JR, Jill Robertson. Trent Ward, Dale Van Duser. There's Dale. Tim Cahill. There he is. There is Steve Moka, too, to the right. Ian Sklarski and Ben Moak.
Last week I was hiding behind the pillar. This week you're the one hiding.
And there's Chris. Beautiful fall evening here tonight at West Aurora. It's been all Naperville Central.
Yeah, this kind of weather makes me think of World Series time, Mark.
Oh, yes. It's coming. Kicked off by Tyler Martin, number 54. Tittle returning it for West, gets across the 40 and brought down at the 42-yard line. A fine return that time by Issa Tittle, 5'6" senior.
Well, Issa pleading with the official, maybe a little late piling on. I tell you what, if he doesn't run into his teammate there, he could still be running right now. A good seam up the middle, and he made a couple people miss, and that's an effective kick return. That's what makes an effective kick return, Mark. It's just, hey, you can't slow down. You go fast and make people miss you because they're the ones trying to stop and cut on the dime and dive after the ball carrier.
So again, from the shotgun, Jackman hands it off to Foster. Foster will spin move to the 45-yard line. 4-yard gain that time, brought down by Mitchell Nowicki. 6'1", 160-pound junior.
A lot of work for 4 yards for number 4, the sophomore, Mark. Trying to pick his way there and string things out with his blockers, but that just allowed the defense time to react.
So it'll be 2nd down and 6 here now for the Blackhawks. Under 3 minutes to go here in this third quarter. 3 wideouts for Coach Jefferson here. The pitch. Tittle will cut it up. Still going on his feet. Inside the 40. Inside the 30. And brought down finally at the 15-yard line. A fine run by Tittle. That was Ken Spanton bringing him down.
Well, a nice run by Issa, again cutting to the outside, showing some foot speed. There's the pitch, cuts inside, makes 2 people miss. There are 3 people, and then it's just a foot race. Spanton had the angle and catches him at the 5. And I don't care if this is not the first string defense for Naperville Central. You gotta like what's happening for West Aurora, able to move the football, get a little confidence back here, and at least get on the scoreboard a couple of times here.
Absolutely. 1st and goal from the 5. Tittle, the tailback now for the Blackhawks. He gets the pitch, trying to cut back, still on his feet, trying to make something out of nothing, Steve, but it's going to end up with about a 1-yard loss on the play.
Well, for you and I, those would have been good moves. For Issa, he's trying to keep his balance and just avoid some tacklers. Eventually, he just caught up to him. He couldn't get his balance back.
Well, those quick cutbacks, so quick, he's so small low to the ground, sort of reminds you of that guy from the Detroit Lions, Mr. Barry Sanders, who I understand his dad wants to kind of talk to him to maybe come back.
I was going to say, who? He doesn't play for the Detroit Lions any longer.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're 2-0 right now.
Second and goal from the 6. Jackman will keep it himself, and he'll get in. Jackman, who almost ran into one of the officials in the goal line, for the first score for the Blackhawks here tonight.
Oh, good decision by Ryan Jackman that time. He isolated a linebacker and then cut to the inside. The cheerleaders get the 6 push-ups and count them off. Looks like West Aurora is going to go for 2 here. You see Jackman got a shot right at the end of that.
Brandon Foster is now the tailback in for this 2-point conversion. Jackman, the pitch to Foster, and he is in, taking a big hit, but Brandon Foster, the sophomore, gets in for the 2-point conversion for the Blackhawks to make it 49-8 with 59 seconds left to play here in the third.
Well, certainly a nice drive for West Aurora. Moving the football, the big run by the little guy, Issa Tittle, set that up, and the sophomore hurdles his way in. So Blackhawks trying to get a little measure of respect back here, Mark. Well, we started to talk about baseball. I'm surprised you haven't let me hear it about my Chicago White Sox, but your Chicago Cubs, that's probably why you haven't said anything.
I've given up on Chicago baseball for this 1999 season about 3 months ago.
I tell you what, though, the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire thing has been fun to watch.
Yes, it is.
Somewhat amazing. I saw something the other day in a newspaper. I'll talk about that in a moment.
Eric Stone ready to kick off for West Aurora. Kick it to the left side. Naperville Central brings it back to the 43-yard line, taken by one of the up men.
Well, I'm not sure that was not supposed to be more of an onside kick type of kick. It was kind of a halfway in between kicking it off and doing an onside kick. Went a little farther than I think he wanted it to be honest.
Matt Parembo was the man who brought down that kickoff. So 1st and 10, Naperville Central from their own 42-yard line. Another quarterback in there for Naperville Central, Morgan Laird. Laird, a 6-foot, 165-pound junior in the ball game for Coach Bungie here. Probably will not get another playoff here as we come to the end of the third quarter with the Redhawks of Naperville Central in command here. They lead it by a score of 49-8. For more on tonight's game, let's go down on the field. I believe our sideline reporter, Lisa Aprati, has an interview down on the field. Let's go down right now to Lisa Aprati. LA.
I'm here with Roger Curlis. He is a Booster Club member. He was a 4-year president. And what's really unique about your situation is that you don't have any kids attending West Aurora High School right now, but yet you are still a Booster Club member.
Oh, yeah, and there are several of us that are that way. High school athletics are just fun. They're exciting. Our kids enjoyed being here at West High, and we want to make sure that the kids who are coming through enjoy it too.
And this is also, is this the 30th year of the Booster Club?
That's right. This is the 30th year for the Blackhawk Sports Boosters, and we've done a lot to help out the school, work on the facilities, support our scholar athletes.
Well, tell us about some of the improvements that you've made.
Well, a lot of them in the physical facilities. The press box here in the stadium is a booster project. The track that you're standing on. There's a watering system in the field that you can't see, but that's here. The concession stand, out the dugouts. on the baseball field. A lot of things like that. The bigger projects that we're able to take on with the help of the community, with the help of the administration.
And this is all done through fundraising.
This is all done through fundraising and through the support of the community.
And tell us a little bit about some of the fundraisers that you go through in order to raise the money.
Well, I'd say the bulk of our money comes from membership. People who join boosters, and we have somewhere around 380 or 400 people who join the boosters every year. The concessions that we sell, the Blackhawk sportswear that we sell, the 50-50 raffles that we do, all those kinds of things are ways that we generate money.
Now, I know you have homecoming coming up next week. Is there something that you're doing for that week?
Well, we'll be here with all of our West High stuff, and we want people to buy our stuff. Absolutely. And we'll push the programs, we'll push the concessions. We'll want a really good crowd. The bigger the crowd, the better we do.
Great. Well, Roger, you guys have done a fantastic job here, and it's great to see the fan support in tonight's game.
We are really pleased with our fan support. Very, very pleased. And thank you very much for being here.
You're very welcome. I'll send it back up to Mark and Steve.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. For the first time tonight, Gerald Clark punting it away for Naperville Central. Gets a kind roll down to the 20-yard line. Couple runs by John Sladek, the junior running back. Now West Aurora will take over at the 10:29 mark of this fourth quarter.
Oh, Mark, you hear the West Aurora band. They're still having a good time here in the stands. I can tell you that much. The West Aurora student section still enjoying themselves here, even though their team is right
Look at
now
them go,
on the
man.
short end of the scoreboard.
Steve Moga can dance like that, folks.
Only if it was an earthquake, I'd be able to make those kind of moves.
All right, 1st and 10 Blackhawks from their own 20. Jackman looking to the air across the middle. Pass is complete. Brought down at the 38-yard line. It'll be a first down. Not sure who caught that one, Steve. Looked like 84, Nate Eimer, the tight end.
And Nate Eimer again with the big target, big hands. Tell you what, he's a pretty good athlete as well. Mark, catcher. Big target behind the plate. Pretty good baseball player as well. And his tight end position, he's able to just curl around across the middle.
Him and Jenkins are split out here on the near side for the Blackhawks. 1st and 10. Jackman goes to the other side, though. Pass is complete to Nate Banks. Wrapped up at the 46-yard line by Clay Yonker, linebacker, 5'11", 165-pound junior.
Central cornerbacks on the far side, giving a good 5-yard cushion that time. And Jackman saw that right away. Just got it out to Mr. Banks.
7-yard gain, Steve, so it'll be 2nd down and 3 here from the 46.
Well, although, again, both our baseball teams did not do well this year, Mark, at least your fans still showed up.
Yes.
I'll give you that much.
Yeah, not for one man, Mr. Sosa, of course. Jackman, dumping it across the middle, overthrown, intended for Eimer, almost picked off there by number 50, Steve Ruff.
Your Chicago Cubs set a new attendance record.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the White Sox were
what's
second lowest per game average for home games, ranking number 13 in the American League. But Mark, on the road, they're number 5. Go figure.
I don't know.
They're a big draw on the road, but not at home. I tell you what, must be that stadium.
It must be. It's a beautiful stadium. I'll give them that.
But what are the Cubbies going to do in the offseason? They're going to have to overhaul that ball club.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
White Sox are gearing up with a young group. You watch a couple years, they might show us something.
3rd down and 3. This is Bessert, and he'll have a first down and more inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Jason Bessert, 5'11" senior, with a fine run that time for the Blackhawks, picking up the first down.
Well, again, it may be the second string for Naperville Central. Not quite as big a bodies up front. The Blackhawks starting to get some of their offense going, starting to open up some holes and work the football the way they normally like to.
Actually, from the 27-yard line, again, it's Bessert. maybe a yard as he was hit immediately at the line of scrimmage. That was Ada Maraban, number 75, 6'4", 260. Tell you, 6'4", 260 backup defensive lineman.
Yeah, not only size, but speed, Mark. That's what separates the big boys from just the big boys.
Yeah, right.
And Naperville Central certainly has shown us they can do a little bit of both here tonight.
Jenkins split out here to the near side for Jackman. Second man through his tittle, and he'll get to about the 23-yard line. Steve, what impressed me too about this Naperville Central team is, you have the talented players in Clifford, but the fundamentals, Steve. We've seen a couple of nice open field tackles holding their ground. Fundamentally, this team is as solid as anybody we've seen all year.
Well, unbelievably solid, Mark, and just a tremendous coaching staff.
Yes.
You've got several guys on that sideline with Joe Bungie. Steve Kenyon, one who Aurorans certainly would know that name. He was at East Aurora years ago, when, like I mentioned before, when the Tomcats had a very good program, very successful anyway. They still have a good program. They were much more successful back in the 70s and early 80s.
Third down and 5. First down,
He's in.
Besser. He is in. Touchdown. Actually, that's Brandon Foster, the sophomore, on the option. 24 yards out from Ryan Jackman to Brandon Foster. Fine run that time, Steve, from the sophomore, Foster.
As soon as he got an opening to the outside, it was a foot race, and forget about it. Sophomore certainly has got some skills, Mark. Right there, the key block. He was gone to the outside.
So now, West Aurora, for the second time tonight, will try for the two-point conversion. They're 1 for 1 in that category. Jackman again on the option to give to Foster, and he is in. So Foster with 2 more points. And the score is 49-16 in favor of Naperville Central with 5 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. We'll take a timeout here and come back to West Aurora right after this. Mark Kruger, Steve Moga, along with Lisa Fraudy back here at West Aurora. Fine run by the sophomore, Brandon Foster, 24 yards out. Stone now to kick off for West Aurora. Squib kick, and taken right at the 35-yard line. Smart move that time by number 46, Drew Coxis. Just falling on it. Not taking any chances there, Steve.
Very, very smart play, perhaps, by the linebacker. He knew there were a lot of red jerseys bearing down on him, and no point in risking it.
So back in for Naperville Central, Morgan Laird. Tight end is Kyle Adams. He's on the far side. They'll keep it on the ground. This is number 36, Steve. This is Ryan Lone, 5'11", 175-pound junior. Gets the carry for Central.
Well, right now, Mark, the Blackhawks maybe a little measure of respect, at least on the scoreboard a couple times, and a little confidence boost as well, perhaps. Again, if they don't spot Central 4 quick touchdowns, it'd be a different ball game right now.
Second down and 6. Laird will keep it himself. Fine run across midfield, hit hard at the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down for Naperville Central, tackled by Dontel Thomas, number 1. We look at this West Aurora schedule, Steve. First 2 games of the year, they knocked off East Aurora, then they knocked off Elgin as we take another look at the quarterback keeper by Morgan Laird. But Steve, then they ran into the DVC, Wheaton North and Glenbard North, last 2 games being outscored 68-12. In the last 2 ball games, Central keeps it on the ground. Again, it's number 36 Lone for about a yard. Then, of course, they run into this Naperville Central squad. Next week, Steve, they're right here at home against Glenbard East. The Rams are 4-0 going into tonight's action. Then they're away to West Aurora. Then they're home here against Wheaton Warrenville South. And then Naperville North. So some tough teams. Glenbard East, West Chicago, Wheaton Warrenville South, and Naperville North.
That's West Chicago. That was a football game that in years past might have been an easier task than it is now even.
Quarterback Paul Gluck in there, handing the ball off to Spencer Palmer.
You know, there's just not a week off in this conference.
No.
You just don't have a gimme, so to speak. It just does not get any easier for the Blackhawks. And the same can be said for your top teams. Central, just about anybody in this conference can beat them.
Absolutely. The Red Hawks have Naperville North at North on October 15th. That is going to be huge. Yes. 3rd down and 10. The pitch to Palmer. Palmer at about the 43-yard line. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. We'll step aside here quickly and let our sponsors identify themselves here tonight.
The game of the week is brought to you in part by SportsMed for Peer Acceleration Sports Training Centers in Darien and Carroll Stream. Take yourself to the next level with acceleration. And by Giordano's Restaurant and Pizzeria, located in Glen Ellen and Naperville. Enjoy their world-famous stuffed pizza, pickup, or delivery.
Minute and a half remaining in the ball game. 4th down and 8 for Naperville Central. Paul Gluck, the quarterback. The reverse. David Springborn, number 88, gets inside the 20 for the Red Hawks for a first down. Springborn, 6 foot, 150-pound junior, getting some action at the end of this one.
Well, Joe Bungie, always a class act when we've seen him, Mark. Certainly not into running the score up. Show a little razzle-dazzle, give him a couple of guys an opportunity to carry the football, but 50 seconds on a running clock here to go in this game. And sure, they're not going to heave it for the end zone. They're just going to try and run this on the ground and see what they can do with it.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Give once again is to Palmer. So Naperville Central, the number 1 ranked team in the state. Steve mentioned number 11 nationally by USA Today, proving why they are number 1 in the state. Should be the final play of the ball game here. Palmer again. Loss of 2 on the play, and that should do it here from West Aurora. 49-16 is your final score. Naperville Central goes to 5-0 on the year, 3-0 in conference play. West Aurora 2-3 overall, and they are 0-3 in the DuPage Valley Conference. Steve Moga, your thoughts on this ball game? Early, it was all Ryan Clifford.
Well, they took control of this game in a hurry right from the get-go. Ryan Clifford scoring from 1 yard out, a minute and a half into the game, and that was after they got West Aurora back to their side of the field. Pretty good field position, and marched right down and scored, and added the extra point kick that Kyle Adams make it 7-0. Ryan Clifford then scored from 26 yards out. Adams again with the extra point kick. That was just 4 minutes gone in our game, make it 14-0 before West Aurora could really even assert themselves in offense. They were down by 2 touchdowns, and getting that big offensive line for Naperville Central, you can't say enough about those big bodies up front, just opening up some great holes and giving Owen Daniels an incredible amount of time to just work his way back there from the quarterback spot to look over the field and throw to several different receivers. But Kevin Noel was the main one tonight. He hauled in a couple touchdown passes. I'll mention the other scoring plays real quick. Ryan Clifford added another 5-yard touchdown run, his 20th touchdown rushing TD of the season, with 3:53 to go in our first quarter. Adams again added the extra point kick. It was 21-0 Central at the end of 1 quarter. Clifford then scored from 32 yards out a couple minutes into the second quarter. Adams again adding the extra point. It was 28-0. And they added another one when Daniels went 41 yards to Kevin Noel, with Adams adding the extra point kick again with just under 5 minutes left until halftime. That made it 35-0. And then Central tacked on another score with just over a minute to go until halftime. Daniels 26 yards to Kevin Noel again. Adams adding his 6th extra point kick to make it 42-0. And that's how things were at halftime. Ryan Clifford, 7 carries, 122 yards at the half. And that was pretty much it for the starters for Central. They played a lot of the substitutes in the second half. They scored again, however, Matt Yellen, 54-yard romp with 4:20 to go in the third quarter. Adams added his 7th extra point kick of the night to make it 49-0. Naperville Central well in command. The Blackhawks getting on the board eventually with just under a minute to go in our third quarter. Ryan Jackman and a quarterback keeper from 6 yards out. They went for 2. Brandon Foster, I should say, hurdled into the end zone for the 2-point conversion to make it 49-8. And then we went into the fourth quarter. Brandon Foster scoring from 23 yards out, and then again scoring on a 2-point conversion to make it 49-16 with just under 5.5 left to go in our game. And that's pretty much the way things ended out. Both teams going back and forth. The final again, Naperville Central 49, West Aurora 16.
Pleasure once again, my friend.
I can take a breath now, huh? Always a pleasure, Mark, to work with you and the crew here, Lisa Arprati and Jill Robertson and company.
Full moon here at West Aurora. Sophomore game won by the Redhawks 50-13. Similar score on the varsity contest, won by the visiting Redhawks at Naperville Central 49-16. Next week, West Aurora will be right here. They'll take on the Rams of Glenbard East. As for Naperville Central, 1 week from tonight, their home opener against Wheaton North. We will have that one for you on our Game of the Week. So for Lisa Prati and Steve Moga, for Jill Robertson, Trent Ward, Dale Van Duser, Tim Kale, Ian Sklarski, and Ben Moak. Once again, your final score, Naperville Central 49, West Aurora 16. I'm Mark Kruger. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. This has been an AT&T Cable Services sports presentation. So long, everybody.
That belonged to our dear friend Clarence White, who played that guitar for many years. And Clarence been gone for a long time, but this song is in remembrance of the great Clarence White. I'm a Pilgrim.
guys are good at this. Now, where did you find a Bill Monroe record when you were growing up, David, in New York, New Jersey?
New Jersey, I found it over at my mentor, Ralph Rinsler's house. He had a whole bunch of Bill Monroe records and live tapes. Ralph was a mandolin player, a great musician and folklorist who I had the good fortune of being 3 blocks away. I met him when I was 2 years old. My mom was his art teacher, and he turned into be a great teacher for me. So.
And you were taking piano, but you decided on the mandolin. And
right. I heard Ralph play the mandolin. He came into my junior high school English class. He played the mandolin, banjo, and guitar, and I liked that mandolin. Yeah. I didn't know anyone that played mandolin, or I'd never seen one, and it looked real cool, this little curlicue thing. I was always a nonconformist, so I said, that's for me.
And Tony, how about you? Did you find records when you were growing up, or was it live music that kind of turned you on first?
Actually, the first record I heard was my father had a real cheap little record player, and he had a broken 78 of Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. On side 1 was Foggy Mountain Special. On the other side, which would play all the way through, was a tune called You're Not a Drop in the Bucket. And I think I first became fascinated by watching that record go around real fast. I really like that. And somebody came along with the LP, and it's like everything was just too slow. Anyway, I love that old 78, and fell in love with the music form that way.
Yeah. You started playing it pretty soon thereafter, right? You started playing pretty young.
They tell me I did. I don't remember when, but I was around 4 or 5 years old. And I've had a number of things along the way that were really just strokes of good luck, I think, more than anything else, like working with Sam Bush and then J.D. Crowe after that. And then I became instantly fascinated with Christmas music in 1975 and was fortunate enough that he asked me to come on board. And I stayed, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
That was the first time I think I saw you guys play. That was 75 when you got your first band together, Dave?
Yeah, we played our first gig in 76. We started rehearsing in 75.
Well, it's many, many years of great music. We're going to get back to a little more. Welcome back to E-Town, would you please? Tony Rice, David Christman.
Speaking of that, my very first record that I made back in 75, before I made a quintet record, I made one called the David Grisman Rounder album. I asked Tony to play the guitar on it.
I agree.
And he agreed, and so we were just fooling with this backstage. I haven't played this in many years, but I think we can get through this. This is a tune that I wrote the day I met Vassar Clements. I was sitting in a chair in Brookline, Massachusetts, waiting to meet one of my heroes, and I wrote this tune called Waiting on Vassar.